Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking a project that took a simple national landmark spruce up and turned it into an absolute lightning rod for controversy. We're talking massive budgets, bypassed federal laws, and a seriously passionate debate over the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, the makeover of a monument. Second, tracking costs and delays. Third, the no-bid controversy. And finally, aesthetics and symbolism. Let's get into it. Section 1. Makeover of a monument, preparing for America's 250th. Now, the administration's vision actually goes way beyond just the pool itself. The big idea is to install 250 life-size statues all across the Capitol for the upcoming 250th anniversary of the U.S. And honestly, it's quite the eclectic guest list. We're talking historical giants like George Washington and Harriet Tubman, sharing lawn space with folks like Kobe Bryant, Alex Trebek, and even Dr. Seuss. But right smack in the middle of this grand vision is a plan to revamp the iconic Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, specifically by coating it a vibrant, bright blue. Now, you might be wondering, why mess with it at all? Well, to understand why a revamp was ordered, we have to look at its history. Supporters of the new project point out that the pool has had chronic, ongoing maintenance issues for years. I mean, during the Obama administration, roughly $34 million was spent trying to fix its plumbing and cleanliness. But despite that massive investment, the pool still suffered from these recurring, marky algae problems. So the current vision: ditch the standard stone bottom entirely and coat the whole pool in a tinted blue resin. The argument here is that this will finally ensure the pool stays clean, manageable, and looks absolutely pristine for the big 250th anniversary celebrations. Okay, moving on to Section 2, tracking costs and delays, projections versus reality. So here's where the math gets, well, a little dizzying. Initially, the project was slated to cost somewhere around $1.5 to $1.8 million, and it was supposed to take a blazingly fast 2 weeks to finish. But the reality? Investigative reports show the contracted cost skyrocketing to at least $6.9 million, with some estimates reaching up to $13.1 million. Oh, and that original May 22nd deadline? Completely missed. Just to give you a real sense of how far behind schedule the project fell, reports from the New York Times in mid-May indicated that only 35% of the pool's surface had been fully coated. You've got to remember, this pool stretches an incredible 2,000 feet long. So having only a third of it painted just days before the deadline made it abundantly clear to everyone that the target date was, well, in serious jeopardy. And the issue isn't just the clock running out, it's the quality of the work itself. Interior department staff actually flagged serious internal defects. We're talking pinholes in the waterproofing layers, bubbles rising up right in the resin, and highly uneven patches of blue paint. So now workers actually have to go back, fix these defects, and essentially redo the work. That pushes the timeline even further back and obviously raises some serious eyebrows about how the final product is going to turn out. Let's put that baseline $6.9 million price tag into perspective for a second. Just look at the number 862. Industry experts did the math, and for $6.9 million, you could completely paint the interior and exterior of 862 average-sized 3,000 square foot homes. That's practically a whole neighborhood. When you frame it like that, it's really no wonder this pool coating project is drawing such intense scrutiny. That brings us to Section 3, the no-bid controversy, bypassing the federal acquisition regulation. To really grasp the severity of the debate here, we need to understand what a no-bid contract actually is. Normally, federal law, specifically the Federal Acquisition Regulation, requires multiple companies to bid on government projects. It's basically standard capitalism, right? It ensures taxpayers get the best possible work for the lowest price. Bypassing this process is usually heavily restricted to extreme emergencies, think wartime needs or natural disasters. Yet an exception was signed for this pool project, claiming that the approaching 250th anniversary constituted an urgent necessity. And the timeline for all this paperwork? It moved with a speed you almost never see in government. The plan was formulated on April 2nd. Literally 1 day later, on April 3rd, the Interior Department signed the official justification to skip competitive bidding entirely. Yet ironically, as we hit mid-May, the actual painting had ground to a complete halt, blowing right past the original contract end date. So who actually landed this rapid no-bid contract? A company called Atlantic Industrial Coatings out of Virginia. And critics are raising massive red flags here. Why? Well, in 2023, their annual revenue was under $3 million. That means this one single contract is more than double their yearly business. On top of that, they have 0 past federal contracts, and their specialty? Coating highway culverts, pipes, and fuel tanks. Not exactly historic national monuments. Adding even more confusion to the whole shebang is the mystery of how they were selected in the first place. Early on, President Trump boasted that his personal pool guy would handle the job and do it cheaply. But as reporters started pointing out that Atlantic Industrial Coatings doesn't generally build or maintain pools, the administration totally backed off. The president later stated he didn't even know the contractors at all, which understandably leaves watchdogs asking, without a competitive bid and without a prior relationship, how exactly did a small culvert company land a multi-million-dollar monument job? All right, final part, Section 4, Aesthetics and Symbolism, the cultural clash over a landmark. Supporters of the project view all of this through a very practical lens. They argue this is just straightforward beautification by a president who has a deep background in real estate development. To them, the pool has been chronically dirty and swampy for years. The goal is simple: clean up a messy landmark, make it look bright and pristine, and ensure Washington, D.C. looks its absolute best for the big 250th anniversary party. For supporters, it's about taking decisive action where previous administrations just couldn't fix the problem permanently. On the flip side, architectural critics, historians, and groups like the Cultural Landscape Foundation, who by the way actually filed a lawsuit to stop the project, are horrified. They are calling this a literal profanation. Why? Because a reflecting pool is fundamentally different from a swimming pool. It was specifically designed with dark, neutral tones to act as a giant mirror. It's meant to reflect the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the natural sky above it, whether that sky is bright blue or totally gray. Painting the bottom a tinted resort blue artificially erases that natural mirroring effect entirely. What's really fascinating here is how this physical change, literally just the color of a pool, has become a massive partisan lightning rod. It perfectly symbolizes how different groups view the administration's approach to governance. Critics see the project as dictatorial, treating a shared public monument like private property, and completely skipping expert conservationist input. Supporters, however, see it as a prime example of effective, no-nonsense leadership, cutting right through bureaucratic red tape to deliver a pristine monument for public celebration. So, as we watch the progress of the reflecting pool and wait to see how it ultimately looks, we're left with a much deeper question. When preserving the history of our national monuments, where exactly is the line drawn between necessary modernization to keep things clean and erasing the original meaning of the space? Who ultimately gets to decide what our history reflects? Thanks for joining me on this explainer today. Keep questioning and keep learning.